Well, hello everybody. Richard from Richard's Radio Adventures and Resonant Frequency, the Amateur Radio Podcast. Today, as part of our continuing little series on Pi stars and DMR and that kind of stuff, I wanted to go ahead and show y'all a tool which makes things a lot easier for those of y'all that have chosen Brandmeister as one of your networks. It's my understanding it's really, really popular, and it's the network that I was on first when I got back on the air and started DMR. So if you look, you can go over to brandmeister.network, and it will take you right to their page. And when you get on there, here's what you got. You got like a map of activity, some numbers and stuff on current activity. You have a lot of stuff here. Let me back up for a moment and say that whatever network you decide to operate on as far as DMR, you probably need to go over their website and sign up. It'll give you a few more advantages as far as using that network. You can really, I believe you can actually get on these networks without signing up for their particular web services and stuff like that. But when they offer you so much, why should you skimp? Especially when the price is right. And we all know what the right price is. So I've already signed in. You can see my call sign up here. And I've already signed in. These are my 3 hotspots. 1, 2, and 3. How inventive. And along with that, I can actually go to pages where I can manage those hotspots. That one appears the information's out of it right now. I may have to put it all back in, but it's got the basic stuff. QRZCom, longitude, latitude, Terrell, Texas, grid square. That information I believe is pulled from the hotspot. I would have to go back and check. But then we have other stuff going on also. With some of the hotspots, depending on what they're running, you can add intervals for your APRS and that kind of stuff. If you run APRS via DMR through Brandmeister, there's some stuff you might want to change. I find that no matter what I set the interval on my handheld, I have to go over to Brandmeister to get it to ID or send the APRS packets when I want them to go. So as you scroll down, that shows I'm the sysop. When you get down here with Brandmeister, you are able to actually activate some static hotspots, like if you're using repeaters, and I don't have any repeaters close enough to use, so I'm kind of guessing at it. When you use those repeaters, some of the talk groups are there all the time. Others can be activated by keying up your radio, and they're there for about 15 minutes, and then they drop back off. And if you want to continue to talk on them, you have to key your radio up again to open up the talk group. Now, in this case, and I'm looking at the wrong hotspot for this particular tutorial, so we'll move over to number 2. In this case, you can go over to Brandmeister, and as part of the self-care, which we're not self-care, we're under hotspots right now. As part of the hotspot screen for your hotspot, you can go in and assign static talk groups. Now, one I use a lot is 3148, which is North Texas regional talk group. 31481 is statewide. I use that one a lot as well. But you can go ahead and punch in the talk group, move it over, and now you have it in there as static, and it'll be there until you take it out. One warning, talk group 91 worldwide. This is just about the only way you can get it off of your talk group or your hotspot, simply because there's something where it hangs up and you trying to disengage it via your radio really doesn't work that well. But that's the only talk group I found that problem with. And if you decide later you don't want a talk group, go in there, it'll take it right on out. Down here below, you can set up scheduled static talk groups. Yeah, back over here on 1. Let's go back over to hotspot 1 for a second. Back here on hotspot 1, you can see I have talk group 91, the one that I was talking about, but I have it scheduled for 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. on Saturdays. That's because they have a worldwide check-in net there, and I'm trying to test out this scheduled static. All you have to do is hit the button, and it'll ask you how you want to handle that particular group. Yak, yak, yak. Yeah, that boy keeps yakking. Now, what's this got to do with my hotspot? Well, that's part of it. Here's the thing that I really want to show y'all. So, back up here, we were talking about call sign earlier. If you go to Profile Settings under your call sign on Brandmeister and click it, you get this page. Now, it shows a little information about you, when you signed on, when you, if your email's correct, that kind of stuff. And down here, you can actually put in a security password. But what we're interested in right now is this API key. Now with the API key, if you click it, and I know some of you guys that have been around, y'all know this, but the newer guys might not. So we're gonna go with it. All right, so you can see that I've created a couple of them here, and those API keys let the hotspot talk back to the website. So a lot of the changes that you can make to your hotspots over at the Brandmeister Network website, you can do on your hotspot. So in this case, since I've already made these, and what you would do is you would click Add. It would ask you what you want to name the API key. You'd do that, and then what would happen is, well, I may have to make another one. Hey, look at that, happy accident. So we're going to click Add. It's going to enter the name. It's going to ask you for a name for the API key. We're going to put this on hotspot number 2, so we're going to put, we're going to put 5-star 2, and since I've already got a couple there that are named for that hotspot, we're going to make it -3. We don't have to do that. If the only one you have is, you have one hotspot, like P3, which is my dual hotspot, or that one, which is my primary hotspot that I use Brandmeister on, you really don't have to add those numbers. I'm just trying to distinguish it from the other API keys. So you hit OK, and it'll come up with this. Now, it's my understanding you can scan this QR code to put it into your hotspot. You guys using cell phones and stuff like that. In my case, we're doing this on my desktop computer, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit copy, and then I'm going to go up there and make sure we copy it. So now we've pretty much done what we need to do over here on Brandmeister, so we're going to move on over to the hotspot. Now we're here at the hotspot, and where that API key comes in is important. I'll show it to you in a moment. But what we're looking at is, I warn everybody, you always need to make sure you have the most up-to-date firmware and software going on your hotspot. It's hard to stay current all the time, but always do your best, and especially when you're doing any kind of upgrade. So we see that we have the current version of the firmware for the hat for our little hotspot. We're currently running the current version of Pi-Star on this hotspot. So now we're going to add some stuff. Take a good look at this screen. You see there's active Brandmeister connections. I'm not currently connected to Brandmeister, any Talkgroups on Brandmeister. You can see down here there's a little bit of activity, and I was talking about 3148. I said something about making Cliff an internet star in the going portable video. Well, that's Cliff, W5PEX, and he got home really late last night. I guess he's out on another run. He is an over-the-road driver, and they are far more accepted nowadays than they were when I got into the hobby, but he's good people. So you want to go over to, well, you have to work your way over to the expert. So we're going to go over to configuration because that'll show it to us. And then we're going to click on expert right here. Now, under the expert settings, be careful when you're in here, especially if you're not used to dealing with, I would say Linux software, but any software that you have to get more down into the code. You know, used to, we had what was it, Microsoft Basic, that you could write programs in and stuff like that, and it was pretty easy language and all that stuff. So I've been around, some of the older guys have been around, but just be careful when you're in the screen, most importantly. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to click BM API. BM API, Brandmeister API. We're going to go on in there. Now it's going to come up with this box and labeled API key. Now we saved the API key from the website, and we're going to go ahead and paste it right here. And it looks like a bunch of gibberish, but the computers know what they're saying to each other. And click apply. Now that we've clicked apply, we're going to go ahead and let the hotspot do its thing. I hate it when it does that, because a lot of times when you click apply, you can the thing shuts down, restarts services, and all that good stuff. So we're going to go back over to admin and see if it took. If we can get him to roll. There we go. So now we're back at that same screen, that same admin screen where I showed you the firmware version, hardware version, Pi-Star 2. Okay. Now we see we have this box. This box is very much like where I added the talk group and removed the talk group. And to add talk groups, to add them and make them static, in the case of single hotspots, so you're only going to worry about time slot 2. In the case of the dual ones, you can do either 1 or 2. And if you type in 3148, which you can see I've done a lot on this computer, 3148, time slot 2, and you're going to add and hit modify static. Come on, baby. We're almost there. It's going to take a second to think about it and get it loaded in. You talk across the network to Brandmeister. And once you've done that, you'll see up here where before we didn't have anything in this box, we now have talk group 3148. I'll do it again with 31481, which is Texas statewide. And we're going to go ahead and add it. And if you watch up there where it says 3148, once it gets past this screen, voila. Now we have 3148, we have 31481. Now, just to make sure, we're going to do one more. And that's going to be 31656. Talk group 31656. I believe that is America Link, which is tied into not only DMR, but YSF and a couple other services. So one more time, we're going to hit Modify Static, and it's going to take us a second to get there. Once we're there, voila. We now have 31.656, so that I didn't want y'all thinking that these were actually the same groups up here. So there you have it. Once you've got this in place, you can do that. There's a couple other things. Sometimes when you have a group where people won't stop talking, like 91, you can hit drop QSO, which will make them drop out momentarily, so you can disconnect from that talk group. You can drop dynamic. We currently have 3 static talk groups in there. We don't have any dynamic groups going on. You know, as far as reflectors are concerned, I really haven't fooled with that much. So as far as the reflectors, I'm going to have to dig in more to that. However, this is a good tool to have, and you'll find that in the case of other services or other networks like, I don't know, other networks like TGIF, some of them have similar tools. TGIF, I believe, has a similar tool, and we will be adding TGIF and finding that tool if it is available in one of our future videos. So while we're sitting here, I'm going to go ahead and hook us up to a dynamic talk group, which is one of those that lasts for about 15 minutes, and see if we can make this happen. And I'm thinking it may just not do it because I got traffic going on that is not allowing me to do so. No, sir. Alrighty. Anyway, the concept's pretty simple, and chances are, because I'm fixing to go over to one of the other hotspots very quickly so that I can show y'all how this can be advantageous. And hopefully we'll have a static one up over there that we can do something with and show y'all. So this is P1, hotspot number 1. We make them a little smaller. And then if we go over to admin screen, because he's pretty quick, I'll show y'all a picture at the end of things here so that y'all can see what P2 looks like, but he's kind of slow and cumbersome because he's got a lot of stuff going on, including I'm adding an external Wi-Fi adapter to him. But here, if we look at the active Brandmeister connections on P1, and it'll hold a bunch of them, buddy. Those are all this big long line here is all talk groups on Brandmeister. If we compare it to this one, you know, you got that. But you can add this many talk groups and keep them active in your hotspot. Now, we currently have 3175 and 1488 active. And as we were talking about drop all dynamic, if we go ahead and click that and give it a chance to cycle, what we end up with is it did not do it. Oh wait, we're waiting. Right here, kids. Right here. And they're gone, because this is where the dynamic talk groups show up. Over here on this one, it would be right here. So with that, y'all go over there, sign up, get your stuff ready, get your hotspots registered, get your Brandmeister API and get the tool working, and everything is going to be fantastic. So what we're going to do at the moment is I'm going to give you a shot of What we're going to do at the moment is I'm going to give y'all a shot of P2 so that y'all can get a kind of an idea what's going on with it, and then we'll be on our way. Now if you take a quick look at P2, you'll see it's got an external Wi-Fi adapter. It's got a larger antenna for one of my handhelds, and back behind it we have our emergency power, which is a one of these battery packs, but it also has solar panels on the front if you look closely. So with that, y'all hang on for the contact information. We'll see y'all next time.